Elvis, Dolly, BB, Garth, Luke, Wade, McQuarrie. See them while they're still known by more than one name.
Your vacation is now playing
In Tennessee.
Plan your trip today at tnvacation.com.
This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 1732, Using the Rupture Ratio to Decide What You Want, by Keith Wilson of keithwilsoncounseling.com. Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining today as we take a look at another wonderful article that can help you improve the many relationships in your life. I'm Greg Audino, your host and narrator. I'm really excited about today's article as it is coming from one of my personal favorite authors, Keith Wilson. Keith has a terrific idea in this article. His rupture ratio, I think, is easily applicable and in many different scenarios, too. So listen closely and prepare to add something new to your relationship tool belt, everyone, as we optimize your life. Using the Rupture Ratio to Decide What You Want, by Keith Wilson of keithwilsoncounseling.com. Getting hurt sucks. You'll want to move on. Before you can, you'll need to know where to go. What is it that you want exactly? If your wife has been sleeping with another man, you might not know how to heal. It's not like she can undo what she did or that you can unknow it. What's done is done. You find it hard to trust, and a persistent image keeps popping into your mind whenever you go to kiss her. You try to imagine feeling the same about her as you once did, but you can't get there from here. It seems like the roads have all been closed, and a confusing array of detour signs are sending you every which way. The Rupture Ratio. Pick a number from 0 to 10 that expresses your interest in staying in that relationship versus the desire to leave. 0 means you are certain you never want to see your wife again. We're not only talking divorce, we're talking a scorched earth annihilation of affection here. If there are kids involved, or an equally cherished Doberman, you'll even walk out on them so you don't have to see her again. You're at a 1 if a bitter, no-nonsense divorce is what you want. Angry enough that she keeps her distance, but not so contentious that you lose the kids and the Doberman. 2 is your number if you'd like to be amicable. 3 means it's a trial separation. The middle range, 4 to 7, represents a particular kind of indecision and vacillation. You might even find the needle moving wildly throughout the day, depending on what you're thinking about at that moment. There are many factors to consider, and it's all very complicated. The fact is, from 4 to 7, you don't really know how you feel or what you want to do. You may be sitting on the fence, keeping your options open, waiting to see which way the wind will blow. What your partner will do next will determine which way you go. 8 is a grim decision to stay together for the kids and the Doberman, or financial reasons because there are some benefits to the relationship. But you're not feeling so lovey-dovey about your wife herself. 9 is reserved for people committed to the relationship for religious reasons, or those who believe that a vow is a vow. You hurt a lot, but you're not going to let a little thing like suffering get in the way of doing the right thing. You're willing to extend grace, even though you don't feel like it, because we all need forgiveness for something. If you're a 10, you're in the kind of love where nothing she could do could change how you feel about her. You want to stay together no matter what. Divorce is off the table. No matter what she does, there is no need for reconciliation. You can apply this scale and these questions to ruptures and other kinds of relationships. If you were hurt by an abusive father, you may want to consider how close you want to be with him today. Would you invite him to live with you and your family? That would be a 10. Live in the same town and see him regularly? 9 or so. Or are you at the filial equivalent to a 1 and do no more than send Christmas cards? Or a 0 and never want to see or hear from him again? Or are you somewhere in the middle? You might be surprised to hear that I, speaking as a certified shrinker of heads, am most suspect of the people at 0 or 10. They need to have their heads examined more than the ambivalent do. While indecisiveness is torture, it's also the normal and even adaptive state of affairs, especially in the beginning when the news is fresh and you don't know how it'll all play out. While we would all like to feel certain, certainty is an almost psychotic level of denial. What moves you? What matters more than where you are on the scale is what way you're heading and the direction you're moving. To get you going somewhere, whether it be towards 0 or 10, I have 2 questions for you, in no particular order. 1. What gets you going towards 10 in the direction of reconciliation? And 2. What actions move you towards 0, meaning dissolution of the relationship? If you're in the middle range and your numbers are vacillating wildly from day to day, then you have a lot more information about what gets you going in one direction or another. You're feeling warmer towards her when she asks you about your day, colder the more time she's on her phone. You really felt hopeful when she made that appointment with a therapist, but you were discouraged the time that she stayed out late. These observations tell you what you want and what to ask for. In a like manner, your own actions can move you up and down that scale. Notice how you feel after you start a fight versus after you make a confession. When you engage in retaliation, does it bring you closer together? When you snoop, does it drive you apart? The answers to these questions tell you how to heal. You just listened to the post titled, Using the Rupture Ratio to Decide What You Want by Keith Wilson of keithwilsoncounseling.com.
Hi, it's Ted here, the unofficial spokesperson for Consumer Cellular, with some very official advice. All right, how do I put this lightly? Your wireless provider is overcharging you. Well, that was easier than I thought it would be. So, get the exact same coverage as the major carriers at half the cost. Switch and save up to $250 a year on all the talk, text, and data you need at consumercellular.com.
And another terrific post from Keith. He really doesn't miss, in my opinion. Obviously, it's a really wise idea he has put forth here today. A great strategy for coaches and therapists to use in their practices. And what I like most about it is how easy it is to grasp for those who might have a hard time working through their feelings. It's a really relatable pitch here, and it can be understood and used pretty effortlessly, by people who are more numbers driven, for example, or especially people who are visual learners. You can sort of visualize the model here. You can see that line from 0 to 10. You can see the landmarks of your emotions as he described what each number consists of, how your feelings could be stronger or weaker, what moves your needle in one direction or another. He's really illustrated the spectrum of feelings, and that can be extremely helpful for people who don't know where to start and are feeling sort of lost in their minds. What's behind me? What's ahead of me? And how can that perspective help me understand where I truly am and what's driving me? So, use this, everyone. In your work, amidst certain groups you might belong to, when deciding just how much you want to sacrifice for a dream, maybe. There's a lot of opportunity to be drawn from this article. That is going to bring us to the end, though. So, again, consider how this idea can work for you. Go test it out. Have some fun with it, I hope. And do be sure to tune in tomorrow for more ORD. I hope to see you there, where your optimal life awaits.